Hey friends, it's Heart Bunny. Being that I'm trying to make this whole YouTube thing happen, I naturally needed to start a social media presence. I'm on X as @HeartBunnyTV. It won't let me take just Heart Bunny, even though it's not taken. It's dumb. Anyways, X is known for having a horrendous community. I think this is mostly a holdover to how bad the community used to be. Whatever the case, I gotta use the site now. On the sidebar, there's a section called Today's News, which just shows a little bit about what people are talking about. This was always there, but now there's an AI summary at the top to give you context, which is sometimes hard to discern yourself, as people usually write this sort of thing with the people who are already in the loop in mind. And that brings us to today's post. Genshin Impact players debate viral list ranking top 10 worst limited 5-star characters. A viral post ranks the top 10 worst limited 5-star characters in Genshin Impact, with Eula at number 1, followed by Childe, Ganyu, Kokomi, Cyno, Sejuani, Ayato, Baizhu, Scaramouche, and Yae Miko. That is not the order that these are listed in, but anyways, community members debate the rankings, defending characters like Kokomi, Ganyu, Childe, and Ito. Wait, Ito wasn't in the whatever, while criticizing inclusions such as Sejuani. Discussions cover past meta relevance, personal usage in Abyss, and potential future buffs. The original post was made by @breadheadhna and will be linked in the video description if you want to yell at this person. I don't actually mean that, please don't do that. Especially because I don't think this post is terrible. I do have some disagreements, but I'd say that half of it is true. Number 1, Eula. She's not great. And it's not just because physical is a lost cause. In many other gacha games, physical is its own element. However, in Genshin, physical is not an element, it is the lack of an element. This presents a problem when everyone has an elemental skill and an elemental burst. By your own terminology, these things are not supposed to do physical damage. However, I think the problems go deeper than that. The meta for many wind characters is still to use Viridis and Venera, which lets you swirl elements to reduce enemies' resistance to that element by 40%. Physical equivalent to this is Superconduct, which reduces physical resistance. What people don't mention is that Superconduct also reduces physical resistance by 40%. I'll get into it later, maybe in a future video or something, but I think the bigger problem is that Eula has really bad back-loaded damage. What does this mean? Well, I don't remember who said this, but the way I've best heard it described is that 100,000 damage now is better than 200,000 damage later, and Eula's burst is the biggest example of 200,000 damage later. You need to hit things to charge up the sword bomb. I didn't pull Eula, so I don't have any video of this, but the 200,000 damage might just be hideous overkill that may as well have been 100,000 damage, or the sword can blow up in between waves of enemies. I think it could have really benefited from having manual controls or something, but combine that with how bad physical is, and Eula was doomed from the start. Number 2, Sejuani. I love her, but the situation here isn't great. I think she's an example of a good concept that missed the point. Having party-wide healing and a skill with low elemental application allows her to be a great support for Fufu specifically. If you want Fufu to vaporize, Sejuani won't get in the way. But do you really want to have a support for your supports? This would possibly be okay if her syringe was useful, but it's not. Number 3, Childe. I don't actually think Childe was that bad. He certainly fell off, sure, but I personally think that characters who at least were good when they were new, that's still something. Some of the characters on this list were never good. Sejuani and Eula are sadly great examples of this. Childe has had a variety of teams throughout the years, but while Childe has a lot of fans, they probably aren't thrilled to tell you that he's really just the setup to let Xiangling do all the damage. Number 4, Yae. Yae was never good. Her character concept was just very poorly timed. If you want a member of the Shogunate with off-field electrical application, you likely already have Raiden. Also, she can supercharge everyone's energy needs. Yae, does damage, I guess? But like, even then, Fischl already exists, won't cost as many rolls, in fact she's even free now, and takes up less field time. What is the point of Yae? Number 5, Ayato. Ayato was never good. He also may have the worst story quest in the entire game, although that's probably not a factor for this list. He's like Childe without the interesting gameplay. You hold down the mouse button. People who pulled him probably pulled him so that he could be reunited with his sister, or they want to have the closest thing to Virgil. Hey, if you've made it this far into the video, you're probably into it, so you should subscribe. You'll get more videos like it in the future. Number 6, Baizhu. It's not that Baizhu is bad necessarily, but he's a little played out. Nature as an element didn't always exist, so once it was released they needed to drop a ton of characters who use it all at once. It got really front-loaded. During the Sumeru meta, nature reactions were pretty strong, but because it was the reactions doing all the heavy lifting, the characters themselves that performed the reactions took a bit of a backseat. Baizhu has off-field elemental application presence, but that's not unique to him. He can also heal, but that's also not unique to him. He can shield as well, and that is cool, but is it so cool that you want to possibly drop another 100 rolls to get him when you can just use Yao Yao? Number 7, Kokomi. Okay, absolutely not. I think the whole Kokomi is bad thing is just a remnant of a huge fan argument that wasn't even true when it was current. Kokomi wasn't even bad when she was new. Oh, she can't crit. That doesn't matter. If Kokomi didn't have the high crit penalty, it wouldn't have changed much to begin with. She isn't the leader of a vaporized team with off-field fire characters meant to give her strong DPS, damage per screenshot. If you really want to do that, you can let Barbara do it. Anyways, not only was Kokomi not bad, but she even improved over time as the on-fielder in Nilou Bloom teams, which by the way, Blooms also can't crit, so Kokomi's inability to crit does not matter. You usually use Kokomi for her elemental application and healing. Elemental applications don't need to crit, and heals cannot crit. Number 8, Scaramouche. Yeah, he's not great either. Despite his role as this huge megalomaniac asshole, he doesn't actually, do tons of damage, which is what you'd think this kind of character would do. He's also extremely fragile. If you don't run him with a shielder, he's going to get knocked out of the air. Chaska is what Scaramouche should have been. Number 9, Ganyu. This is also just completely wrong. Yeah, okay, Ayaka is Frieza's main character, so much so I completely forgot to mention Ganyu in my last video. Whoops. But Ganyu isn't bad. Ice as an element was severely lacking for quite a while, and Ganyu was the first character to actually fulfill the role of an ice attacker. When Ganyu stepped into the picture, it was extremely easy to use her low hit count, high damage multiplier charge shots to get huge melt DPS, damage per screenshot. And then later on, when Freeze became a more viable team option and Ayaka dropped into the scene, that's true, but you could also just have one character for each? Ganyu isn't great these days, but as previously mentioned, there are characters that were never good that could have been on this list instead. Number 10, Cyno. Cyno is the most tragic character on here. His combat design would be great if the characters you use to support him, existed. Let's say you transform with Cyno and you kill all the enemies, and then another wave of enemies spawns. Well, now you've got a problem. You've lost your elemental reaction. You could either keep attacking them, but have no quicken, or switch characters to apply elements, but then you lose your transformation. Cyno really needs a green Xingqiu to exist, but that didn't exist in Major Version 3, and it still doesn't exist yet. Yeah, there are off-fielders, but it's not the same, you know? Okay, so now that we've gone through the video, who do I think should have been on this list? This is going to be a bit of a speed round, and hey, I'm not a theory crafter, I'm just some guy. Alright, here we go. Albedo and Shiori. They do the same thing, but the thing they do wasn't really that great to begin with. Rock has always been the game's underdog, while Physical has been the abandoned kid they threw in the garbage. Also, guess that would mean Ito goes here too. Aloy. Technically, she's limited in that you can't get her anymore, and she's 5-star in the sense that when you get her, there are 5 stars on the screen. Clorinde. This character made zero splash. She just came and went. Bond of Life is a mechanic that is barely used in this game, and if you know about it, it's probably because you use Arlecchino. Wrothsley. He's not bad, but by the time he dropped, who cares? By then everyone had already decided on who they wanted to run their freeze teams. Xiao. Yes, he's gotten multiple indirect buffs, but they just haven't ever stacked up to making him a high tier. He's always been just okay. He always just comes up too short. Yoimiya. Man, this one is sad because it's not even really her fault. Genshin's aim assist sometimes doesn't cut it. Also, in her combo string, every step of it does more damage than the previous step, and every time you have to move, you have to restart the combo, so dodging is more of a damage loss than usual. Anyways, I want to thank everyone for the strong positive reception to my last video. After spending multiple days editing it, I thought I would have gotten maybe 20 views or something. It seems the YouTube algorithm has been recommending my video to other people, and I'm immensely grateful. If you watched that video, please leave a comment telling me about where you found it. Your friend, Heart Bunny.